What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite minority from the loud majority, Louis Angel Lopez, touching base with the base. Um, so the big story over the weekend was Donald Trump's rally in New Jersey, South New Jersey, Wildwood, New Jersey, to be exact. Now, if you're not familiar with Wildwood or you're not familiar with New Jersey, this is pretty much like a boardwalk, amusement park, beach, all wrapped in one. Pretty big attraction. A lot of people. I've been there twice in my whole life. I live in New Jersey. I've been there twice my whole life. It's a couple hours away from me though, like 2 hours away. It's south, all the way at the bottom of New Jersey. If you're not familiar with New Jersey, those who are familiar with New Jersey know where it is. Um, but yeah, about 50 miles away from the courthouse where he's usually at during the week in New York City. He was in Wildwood, New Jersey, on the beach, giving a speech, one of his famous speeches that people love to criticize and mock. The what do you call it? The mainstream media loves to mock. I got people in my comments. Oh my God, these people don't stop. They don't stop. But whatever, it's fair game. But anyway, the big story is that he was down there, and this shit was mega. That's all I'm gonna say. It was MAGA. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Every outlet I've seen is reporting at least 80 to 100,000 people. Now, you got people arguing, No, there was nowhere near that number. I got people saying there was as many as 8,000. People arguing with me saying there was as many as 8,000. Then there's other people arguing saying there was as much as only 40,000. And I'm like, you do realize that's a lot still, like, right? Like, you do realize that 40,000 is a lot of people. Like, even if it was, but like they're trying like, it was only 40. I'm like, you realize that even if it was only 40, that's still a lot of people. You realize that, right? Anyway, every outlet that I'm seeing is reporting that this thing had at least 80 to 100,000 people there. Okay. Now, you can imagine why there's people arguing. No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't. I say most people like to argue against things they don't like out of fear. So they'll say, "No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not true. That's because they're scared of of accepting the reality of what it would mean, of what it would mean if it was true. They don't want to accept the reality of what that would mean if it was true. If 100,000 people actually did show up to this man's rally in a deep blue state, New Jersey, where he lost last time election. Why would 100,000 people show up to see him if he lost New Jersey in 2020? A part of me doesn't believe that all these people just popped up within these last 4 years. I think a lot of these people existed before then. So how in the world it doesn't add up? Most of the things in 2020 don't add up. They'll argue up and down that it was all fair, legit, and shit. But we all know that it wasn't. It wasn't. It's been proven that it wasn't. Okay. They're finding fraudulent votes every day. They found missing ballots the other day in Fulton County, in the county that's actually prosecuting him for a RICO case for election interference, because he claimed, "Hey, find more votes in my name because I know they exist. Not make more votes, find more votes because I know they exist." And guess what? Within the last few days, what comes out? What comes out in the last few days? Fulton County finds missing ballots over 3,000. I can imagine there's way more than that if they actually keep looking. So I don't know, man. It's like we don't ask for these things to keep coming to light. They just keep coming to light. And they make the other side look guilty. I'm sorry. And when we point that out, All these people know how to do is attack. Oh, whatever, you're just cultist, MAGA cultist. It's like, no, man. It's like this shit is literally just getting thrown in our face, what they're doing, and you're just oblivious to it because you're very angry about this person, because you've been duped into thinking that you're some sort of hero and that it's your job to save everybody. So anytime somebody says something you disagree with, it's like that person has to now be like your arch nemesis. And it's like, trust me, you don't want to live in a world like that. Most of these people in America think they want to live in a world like that. I can guarantee you, okay? That's what y'all think. Y'all do not want to live in a world like that, okay? But it is what it is. So we're going to play this clip.
Massive crowd of up to 100,000 people in deep blue New Jersey.
Officially play in the state of New Jersey. We're going to win the state of New Jersey. You could take the 10 worst presidents in the history of our country, add them up. We haven't done the damage to our country that this total moron has done.
And with the
Now, see, if you watch the whole rally, you'll see how Trump said in the rally too. He's like, you know what? I didn't want to talk bad about him like in this way. I wanted to keep it professional and just talk about his poor job and not really throw insults and not really make, say a bunch of like bad words towards him and, basically like personal attacks. He said, but this man is just so incompetent, it's impossible not to. It's like how do you not like attack this man's character for what he's doing? And in all honesty, where I work, we talk about this shit all the time. It's like, yo, in all honesty, most of us really do feel bad for Biden. Like, we actually do feel bad because, like, honestly, we see a decrepit old man and we're like, yo, he should really just be like at home somewhere. He should really just be at home somewhere, like in a rocking chair with a blanket over him, just enjoying the rest of his days, because they're literally just like sending out Uncle Bernie at this point every day, and like it's like, yo, like it's bad. Like, I'm really hoping that nothing goes down with this man's medical health on on live TV, because it doesn't look good. Every time they wind him up and send him back out, he looks worse and worse. So let's pray we're not all witness to something like that one day, because he really should be. He's an old man. He's an old man. He needs to be somewhere being taken care of. Like, I wish that was what he was doing right now, because he's very old.
The election less than 6 months away, Trump is clobbering Joe Biden in 5 key battleground swing states among likely voters, all of which Biden won in 2020, including a double-digit lead in Georgia and Nevada. So is the writing on the wall? One of the president's favorite commentators, CNN's Fareed Zakaria, seems to think so.
I have to admit, none of this is playing out as I thought it would. Trend lines are not working in Biden's favor. He needs to do something bold and dramatic to seize the initiative.
Trump's more ahead than he's ever been. Everything that we're throwing is spaghetti at a wall, and none of it is sticking.
These are top Democrat lead. Like, these are top Democrats admitting this shit. They're admitting to the other Democrats. This is kind of what Stephen A has been saying as well. When he's basically been saying, like, hey, dear Democrats, I want you to win, but I'm going to be honest about how you're failing. You're doing a terrible job, and everybody knows it. And now it's to the point that they're mimicking the same thing that most Trump supporters are saying. So the people that you have attacking Trump supporters, hey, guess what? The people that are attacking Trump supporters for saying the same thing, here you go. Even your leaders are starting to tell you this. That it's clear that what they're doing to Trump is political and that it's not working. It's making it worse on your behalf. They're admitting it. They're finally coming out and saying it now. What we've been saying all along, and yet there's people who still attack and say, you're stupid. You have no idea what you're talking about. Your own Democrat leaders are admitting it. That the investigations are political and that it's backfiring against them. Stop it. It's not working.
Doing is really, really not working.
So we have an expert here on the Jersey Shore, and that would be Jesse Waters. And Jesse, it used to be Jim Tan Laundry, and now it's Jim Trump Laundry, it appears.
GTL, for real.
GTL.
So Johnny was there. You'll see that tonight. And he said it wasn't 100,000. Said it was closer to 30,000. That's still a packed venue, and that's still, I would say, 29,500 more than Joe's ever had. And he did promise that if he was reelected, to terminate the windmills that are pockmarking the Jersey Shore and save the whales, so that's a twofer. I like the new nickname, Moron Joe. Sleepy was good, but it wasn't effective enough. If you have one side calling you a Nazi genocidal dictator, and he just says you're a moron, I think that sticks. The guy's opening up the border. He's breaking the bank. He doesn't know where he is when he leaves the stage. Moron Joe is going to land, and I can feel it. Now, if you look at these polls, the Rust Belt's out of reach if these numbers stick. Nevada, double digits, and Arizona. And then Georgia, because of Laken Riley and Fannie Willis, that's gone. So that just makes it a battle for the Rust Belt. And so Trump only needs one. He only needs one. And it looks like the whites are going to come back home because he lost a little white. He lost some of that white vote that he had with Hillary.
True, he lost.
So those whites, you know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Want to hear? You hear that? Isn't that insane? How is it that this racist, Hitler-esque demagogue, white supremacist, he's gained the minority vote, in record numbers, according to, to the Republican Party anyway. He's gained minority votes in record numbers. And he's actually lost the white vote, a lot of it. So how is this man, this white supremacist, he's losing the white vote? Make that make sense. Somebody has to make that make sense. Somebody got to make that make sense to me. How is he gaining support in minority communities and then losing it in white communities, in the white community, I guess, in the American, white American community? If he's a white supremacist, I'm confused. He has to be the worst white supremacist in the history of white supremacy. It's almost like he's actively working against white supremacy. Listen, I'm just going based off reality. That's all I'm doing. I'm going based off fucking reality here. Not what the fear-mongering news is gonna sell you every day about how he's worse than Hitler. Hitler killed millions of people. Any news outlet that tells you that Donald Trump is worse than Hitler, turn that shit off. Turn it. Okay, Hitler killed millions of people. Donald Trump has never done anything like that. Never. They just don't like the things he says. And they're comparing him to Hitler. Do you understand? Do you understand? Hitler killed millions of people. Millions. There is no way in the world you can compare Donald Trump to Hitler. There's just no way you can do that. Anybody who does that, you cannot take them seriously. Any news outlet that does that, do not take them seriously. Turn that shit off. Change the channel, because I'm telling you, they're feeding you fear. They're feeding you bullshit to keep you afraid. Okay, they want you afraid. That's what they want. They want afraid people. Donald Trump has never done anything near as horrifying and terrible as Adolf Hitler. So for any news outlet to come out and say that, they are immediately discredited, and you need to turn that shit off. Seriously.
Went to Joe Biden in 2020. The whites are coming home in the Rust Belt, but his, I'm going to call it diversité, is really increasing because of the young and the black and the Hispanic. It was a 12% diversité coalition last time. It's up to 19% diversité, Katie.
12
and that's
to
all economic opportunity. You just don't have it. You can't buy a house. There's no way to get off your parents' couch. And so these feelings are entrenched. There's never been a position where a candidate at this point in May has been down every single battleground and ever come back. The only candidate to do that was Donald Trump.
Oh, there you go. So, Judge, it seems like the Trump
Still believe
campaign and Donald Trump want to expand the map. They're willing to go into New Jersey. There's talk about him going into New York. There's also thoughts that he could win Virginia if he plays his cards correctly. So, are Democrats trying to play catch up? And why are they also not nervous about Joe Biden being down by so much in the polls?
Well, they are nervous. They are nervous, and they know. I mean, who's the one who just said Fareed Zakaria said it's got to be a bold and dramatic move to seize the initiative or whatever. He's never done anything bold and dramatic for the last 3.5 years. I don't know what makes him think he can do it now. But you know what I think is significant is that Trump and Biden are essentially tied among 18 to 29-year-olds, tied. And Hispanic voters. But more than that, I think that this trial, if you put the A block and the B blocks together, I think that one of three things are happening. Number one, either people don't care about the trial, or people don't believe that Donald Trump is guilty, or people are totally offended by the concept of one party bringing a criminal charge against a man who's a former president running for president. And I think that's going to affect American history. And I think to all of Americans, it's somehow offensive to us to be in this situation where you're literally putting a man on trial in a criminal case while he is running for president. It's just so untasteworthy. It's so inappropriate.
So I gotta agree because I'm gonna be honest, right? Like I said this on my live the other day, and I say this often. Okay, there are a lot of people who actually do support Donald Trump, and they just don't want to say it out loud. They just don't want to say it out loud because they know exactly what's gonna happen if they do. They know people are gonna start attacking them. Like some people just can't handle that type of shit. Some people just can't handle it. They can't handle complete strangers coming at them and coming at their neck and criticizing them. So they have to go with, the mass hive mind. So that way, they're free from critique. Even if they know the shit doesn't make sense. There's a lot of people who will literally see everything I post, go 100% against Joe Biden. And then I'm like, yeah, well, you see, Trump was against all this. He was fixing all this, and they still just can't wrap their mind around it. Not even if they can't wrap their mind around it, they can't admit it. And it's like, you can at least admit it to me. You can at least admit it to me. It's okay. I won't tell the world your secret. I'll let you do it on your own. But the truth is, everybody knows that the cases are bullshit. Okay. I gotta tell you, I work with people, like I said, we all know what's going on. But once upon a time, not everybody believed what was, that Trump was being set up and he was, all this, the notion. So, but now that, they do, it's every day. It's, they're just doing this because they know he's going to win. And I'm like, that's what I was saying before. That's a dangerous thing because they're doing it right in our face. Right in our face. And the sad part is they got people out here that's like sticking up for them as they do it. And I'm like, yo, they're going to do it again to the person you like one day. They're going to do it to them too one day. Because you're not understanding, like, the person you like one day is going to go against the establishment. And they're going to say they're going to give you everything you want. And the establishment is like, what? No. No. And then that person is on the chopping block. And next thing you know, you're going to be like, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, what? Listen, at the end of the day, now we know that former presidents can be indicted. Don't be surprised if they go after Obama and expose the shit out of him for all the things that he did. Obama did a lot of dirt, okay? There's a lot of people that don't want to accept that. Okay, the Fast and Furious scandal, the money to the Iran terrorists. I mean, he did a lot of shit, man. The drone strike on the American citizen. These things are bigger deals than people seem to realize, okay? They're bigger deals than people seem to fucking realize. And if there's no immunity for presidents for when these atrocities happen underneath their tenure or whatever you want to call it, then guess what? If that's the new normal, if that's the new precedent setting, then that means he's fair game now.
It just stings Americans. And so I think that that has a lot to do with it. Now, Joe Biden apparently is planning on bringing out all the celebrities. Now, he's going to bring out Clooney and Eva Longoria and Julia Roberts. Well, none of these celebrities helped Hillary Clinton when she ran against Trump. And so when you get a blue state like New Jersey, and I don't know if it's 30,000 or 100,000, which is what I'm reading in the reports, whatever it is, you've got a guy on trial who's showing up, and people are showing up like crazy, bigger than we've ever seen in Wildwood. That's what they said for sure. So I think that in the end of all this, the swing states are going to stay deeply by Trump against Biden, especially for all the reasons you just said, Jesse.
So, Harold, Trump is the king of rallies and showmanship, but Democrats are the Olympians of voters, and they plan to be ahead by millions of votes ahead of Election Day for Biden. So is that a good thing for Democrats when it comes to these
Well, I think
polls?
it's a good thing for first of all, these polls you have to take very seriously. They're 5 months out, but this is a snapshot of where the country is and where 5 or 6 really important states are. Interesting to me to see that in Georgia and Nevada, the former President Trump is at 50. In polls, if you're an incumbent and you're below 50 against your opponent, it's always a challenge. And you look at the poll and see if someone's at 50, that's always telling. Now, we're 5 months out, and we'll have to see what happens. If I'm Biden and the team, I take the alarm that Carville and others have been sharing. It's time to change some things because what's happening is frankly not working. That doesn't mean that you're not right, that you don't care, that the things you're campaigning on right now are not things that Americans need and Americans want, but it's not working with voters.
The problem is they're thinking about all this this what's the word I could use? They're more worried about a bunch of shit that the average person is not worried about. Okay? They're worried about the trans rights and men being able to play in women's sports. And these are things that the average person's like, dude, why is my gas so high? Why is my gas so high? I don't care about a man. No, that doesn't even sound good. You want me to be worried about what? About a man? If a man can play in the girls, my daughter's sport, no. Can you lower my gas? Definitely no on the other thing. It's just definite no on that. Listen, I know in my community, you ain't gonna dupe my community into nothing like that. Crazy as hell. Where I grew up, they ain't letting that go down. They ain't letting that happen. You ain't tricking people into allowing a man be in a woman's bathroom and a woman's locker room and in a woman's sports team. You ain't tricking my community into that shit. People could call me whatever they want. People call me coons, all types of shit. But at the end of the day, I'm black. I grew up in the black community. I grew up in the minority community. I can tell you right now, that shit ain't flying over there. Ain't nobody worried about that. The only thing they got is abortion. That's it. Abortion, abortion, abortion. That's it. That's the only thing they got. Nigga, what about groceries? What about gas? What about my bills? What about that? Right. That's the problem. They're worried about the wrong thing, and that's exactly why they ass gonna lose. That's why they're gonna lose.
I'd get to the border. I'd announce 4 executive orders at the border and then call on Republicans to pass the compromise bill and say, President Trump, release the Republicans and let them do it. Meg Johnson, you did the right thing on Israel. You did the right thing on China and Russia and battling back at them with the foreign aid bill. Do that, Mr. President. Go and acknowledge gas prices are high. Grocery prices are high. Talk about the investments we're making as a country and the tariffs you're going to put on China. Use that money to bring down our debt and use that money to ensure that we're able to fight at our border. You've got to be different, and you got to meet people where they are. The polling data that shows us down also shows what's on voters' minds. And if we're not attuned to, if we're not committed to and invested in that, then we're going to lose. The only good thing about this poll right now is we've got 5 months to deal with it. But you can't deal with it seriously if you're not serious about what the numbers say.
Sounds like advice, Greg, for Biden to be moderate Joe like he was the first time around.
It's too late, though. Joe is beating Trump in one state. confusion. By the way, it's good to see Harold starting to panic, right? That's what you did. That's like,
Oh,
that's the most.
I'm just trying to light them up a little bit here.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
think they
starting
understand.
to worry, and I like that.
I've said that for a while. I've worried.
Yeah, Shiny Greg has a point. I think you're starting to see the realization that things aren't going well. You're seeing the doubts in the media, Fareed Zakaria, the frantic stares in the media, the blame throwing. They're like on a lifeboat that's run out of food, and they're starting to eye each other suspiciously, and yet they're so close to land.
That's a perfect
Yeah, that
analogy.
land is called MAGA country, but their egos won't let them swim to shore. They'd rather go down in the boat, never.
The egos have seeped out into the voters, into the constituents, it's seeped out into the base, because this is all day. All these people do is attack people like me. When it's like, dude, the truth is right there in your face. It's obvious. That's why I don't believe half these people that attack me about comments are even real. I honestly believe that most of them are just bots. They're not even real. They're a computer program. You're not even real. Because there's no way. There's just no way. There's just absolutely no way. Like, how?
Trump ocean than find joy and pleasure in MAGA country. Carville said they were throwing everything at Trump. Not true. They haven't actually tried to persuade voters with policy or anything. So far, it's just been apocalyptic hysteria and unconstitutional lawfare.
Like,
so everything that they've actually
whoa,
tried is
right
the reason
now,
why you have
Biden. What are you talking about?
100,000 people in New Jersey,
You
Jesse.
want people to ignore the fact that
Or
there's
as
war
CNN
under
called it, just a
Biden
few
right now.
insurrectionists. That's a reaction to what Americans are seeing right now, which is un-American. What scares me, though, is that when you see these Trump polls and you see these rallies, I'm worried about what we don't see. What are the Democrats cooking up with the votes? Legal or illegal? Judging by your ears or your eyes, this election should not even be close. So the Dems have two options. One, accept the outcome, be comforted by the fact that you got one Biden term.
That ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I'll stop you right there. They are not gonna be accept everything that they've done within the last couple of years for Trump within the last year or so with these charges. There's no way that they're about to. There's no way in hell that they're about to just say, you know what, fine, let's let them have it. No, they're cooking. So they're on Plan Z right now, and Plan Z is just we're just gonna steal it in broad daylight. That's it. We're just gonna steal it in broad daylight. I guarantee that's what's gonna happen. They're just gonna steal it in broad daylight. It's gonna be so obvious. It's gonna be so obvious that even people who swore up and down that 2020 was not stolen election, they're gonna say, wait a minute, hold on. There's no way this guy Biden just won again. There's no way possible. Maybe he did steal it in 2020 as well. Maybe he did.
A deal with a dementia-ridden devil, or resort to electoral dirty tricks. And that's why we need the utmost transparency, because I fear the Dems will go the second route. Although I have very little evidence on that, but that hasn't stopped me before.
They haven't done any of that.
No, never, not at all.
Never.
We won the last election.
One.
We have to win so big you can't rig.
Yes,
Which is what
win
Trump
so
said over
big
the
you
weekend.
can't rig.
That's right,
Good
Harold.
job, Jesse.
Welcome.
He took that from
Sort of like you
Trump.
guys did with W.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on. What's the deal with these pro-Hamas morons, anti-Israel?
Stand to that one. But the fact is this, right? This is the fact. The Dems are terrified. It's showing in my comments. It's showing all over social media. It's showing on some of these pages that I'm seeing on social media that are, you can tell that a lot of these people are paid to make these posts, and they're just grasping at straws. They're just like, they're reaching for any little thing that they can to make a negative video towards Trump or MAGA or Republicans. And don't even get me started on Republicans in DC, because I put them in a separate category than MAGA and Trump. But that's neither here nor there. But that's a whole different conversation. But these people have to be being paid at this point to continue to stick up for the Biden administration, because there's no way that these people are doing this on their own free, on their own free will, or I highly doubt that these people are doing this because they want to do it. A lot of these people are doing it because they're being paid to do it. They create these false narratives. I seen one where this guy was saying that he created this whole narrative about Melania Trump because because of a post she made on Mother's Day. Oh, this is why she really is secretly wants to leave Donald Trump. And I'm like, did she tell you this? Or is this something you just made up in your mind? And everybody in his comments is like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, wow, you people really are very desperate for some sort of gotcha or some sort of W. Like it's crazy. Like the woman she's a free woman. She can leave the man at any given time if she wants to. She can divorce the man at any time if she decides to. Okay. I highly doubt she's doing it to appease people like you on the internet, a bunch of nobodies. And half of them are bots, computer programs. Come on. It's fucking sad. But that's the world we live in now. But they're terrified because a lot of people show up to that rally. Everything I've seen says 100,000 to 80 to 100,000. I don't know. Jesse Water says the most he thinks was 40. 30 to 40, which let me say, even if so, that is still a lot. So anybody who says, no, it was only 30 to 40, it's like, you realize that that's still a shit ton of people, right? That's a lot of people. 30 to 40,000 people. Come on now. You should still be afraid. Be afraid. But at the end of the day, that's all I can really say about that one. Yeah. It's looking like the Democrats are losing steam. They lost steam a long time ago, but I don't know, man. Trump is about to put the fatality on them. Mortal Kombat, like straight up demolish. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. It's gonna be a massacre. It's gonna be a massacre. Scary. But anyway, once again, it's me, Luis Angel Lopez. Make sure you guys do me a favor. You hit you pat that like button. You pat that subscribe button. Make sure you comment, pat the share button. Drop your comments, whether it's negative, positive. I don't give a damn. Feel free to do whatever. But just make sure you subscribe, okay? Even if you don't like me, subscribe. Pat that subscribe button. For me. Might do you some good in the long. Who knows? But anyway, it's your favorite minority from the loud majority, just touching base with the base. I'll catch you guys next video.